Yes.
Have you ever heard of it?
I have. It was a project that was launched, I think, 3 months ago. Of course, launched by the Cabinet Secretary for Sports and Culture, that is Ababu Namwamba. And it is a partnership between even Kenya, Ken Invest and Radical. And it is just a platform to give the many youths in the country that we have that are jobless a chance to showcase what they have in terms of business ideas that are probably digital economy driven. Yeah. And since then, it was launched to different counties. It has happened with the likes of Kisumu County, Kiambu, Makueni County, Embu County. It is an exercise that has been going on throughout these 3 months. And the county awards have been happening in phases in different counties. I remember the last one was Makueni County.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and now time now to bring it to the next step, which is the national awards point, which is happening today, and of course there are a number of participants showcasing what they have. Their goodies to get for the first runners, second, and also.
And I'm sure that is what people are looking forward to, because I can see the winner will be taking 5 million shillings cash, 5 million shillings in kind. First runners up, 2.5 million shillings cash. Another similar amount, 2.5 million shillings in kind. Second runners up, 1 million shillings cash, 1.5 million shillings in kind. And we'll be sharing with you details of exactly how they got here. Even before we go to the live event happening at the KICC, I'm just looking at their website, plugmtaani.org. And they say that Plug Mtaani Vijana to Invest is a national youth entrepreneurship strategy focusing on unlocking the potential of entrepreneurship and investment amongst the youth. The program intervention focuses on capacity building, training, mentorship, financial literacy, soft skills development, which is very important, by the way, because many people just prioritize finances and forget that there are other skills away from money that you may need in running your business. Seed capital as well, networking and linkages for a duration of 10 years in 2 phases of 5 years each. Now, the business development and investment program seeks to build solid enterprises by the youth that will become major corporations. So the whole intention is to help entrepreneurs who are looking to start up their own businesses and to grow them, and through seed capital, skills, financial literacy, because some of the challenges have always been, yes, I may have the seed capital and I may have the intention to run a business, but do I have the knowledge on how exactly to do this, even to manage money? So issues to do with that. So that is their mission. And they're approaching it differently. It's not just about business ideas and competition, because yes, the competition is interesting. The winning is even more interesting. Well, who doesn't need 5 million shillings
10 million
in cash or in kind? However, it is a comprehensive program that brings together so many different things to nurture entrepreneurship in the country, and even that spirit of entrepreneurship. And they're doing it through capacity building, of course, through this award system, through business development services and national awards. And I'm hoping that our colleague George Maringa, who's supposed to be giving us updates from there, will actually get to interact with some of these people to see just how far they've come, those who've engaged with the Plug Mtaani and the whole idea. But it's also a very interesting time with the Youth Connekt Africa Summit that Kenya is hosting. Now, this year we've hosted quite a number of huge summits. I remember the Climate Summit, Africa Climate Summit. It was huge.
Quite a success, actually. Now there's the Youth Connekt that is linked to this Plug Mtaani is starting today, then the Youth Connekt is officially starting tomorrow 8th to the 12th of December. This is the 6th edition of the Youth Connekt Africa Summit 2023, and expect around 20,000 delegates to be convening at the KICC on all during this period from tomorrow, that is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and comes to an end, I think, on Monday. There's just a myriad of issues that will be addressed, but the main focus this year is matters leadership and innovation when it comes to youth.
Now, Plug Mtaani is one of those events that are happening as a precursor to the Youth Connekt Africa Summit. And there have been activities over the past few days. We could just listen in to some of these events or part of the program that was taking place in the past few days, just to see what kind of discussions are happening and who is engaging who, even as we look forward to the Youth Connekt Africa Summit.
This is the first administration to consolidate all youth-centric activities together under the same roof, which has made it very easy for us, by the way, to focus attention on matters youth.
Creating a personal connection between the commemoration event and the citizens' hope and desires. On these days, we reflect on the strides made in achieving the identified theme, contemplating the vision of our forefathers as against the current and imagined future. Consequently, it gives me great pleasure to join you today to mark the commencement of the Kenya at 60 Jamhuri Day Celebrations Week under the theme Kenya Youth Creative Economy.
Through this partnership, we are committing funding to the amount of $1.5 million to social businesses here in Kenya to help them grow and promote their businesses online.
Monetization is right at the heart of the partnership with TikTok, and because we believe that as we grapple with the challenge of unemployment and providing sustainable livelihoods for our young people, we see this space of content creation as holding immense promise.
So a company can come on TikTok, use me as a creator to maybe create awareness about maybe their product, their services. So it's a really good platform, or it's a really good opportunity that TikTok has offered businesses and creators as well.
Of developments therein. Of course, it's still linked to the youth discussion as well. But before that, we saw the CS for Youth Affairs, Ababu Namwamba, accompanied by the Chief of Staff, Felix Koskei, talking about the events to be coming up. And of course, they indicated that this Youth Connect Africa Summit is also part of the week leading to the 60th Independence Day celebrations, which happen next week on Tuesday, Jamhuri Day. So yes, it is there's a wider plan, and for the Youth Connect Summit, Kenya is looking to host over 20,000 delegates, young people, government officials, corporate leaders, and development champions from across the continent for that discussion. And this year's summit aims to spotlight youth leadership and innovation for Africa's integration. And yes, back to Plug Mtaani, that is how it plugs in to this whole discussion. Just enabling the youth to be in a position to start their own businesses that will not just start, but also thrive. Because I think youth, Plug Mtaani is one of those things that can spark creativity. Yes. That by giving incentives, because many Kenyan youth say, fine, I may pursue this, but what is the incentive? What is there for me? Yeah. So, especially through that award system, because it was envisioned to be a business innovation reality show initially, featuring business ideas where you come present your business idea, and if at all it gets to win, then you move on to the next level, and eventually they get to declare the winners. And initially it was a TV show, and now it has morphed into something bigger, and there are 50 participants representing 15 counties. And they will have the opportunity to interact with young parliamentarians, participate in a boot camp to enhance their pitching skills, and eventually compete for the top prizes. The top prize, once again, is 5 million shillings cash and 5 million shillings in kind. So it's definitely one of those interesting incentives that can really drive creativity.
Definitely, and most definitely looking forward to see the top 3 contenders, because for you actually to make it to be number 1 when it comes to matters innovation, it would be interesting to see the ideas that they have. And also, I see this Plug Mtaani, they aim at training at least 9,400 youth in number, and launch at least 6,000 businesses, and be able to create at least 26,000 jobs by the end of all that exercise. Yeah, and that is just what will be happening. I believe there will be quite interesting exhibitions and workshops within KSCC throughout these 4 days. And definitely be let's look forward to having George Maringa to just showcase all that.
The other interesting thing is that, yes, there could be winners at the national level, but there are also winners at the county level, because this competition is also being conducted at the county level, and eventually the winners probably get to move to the national level. But we'll be getting more details from George Maringa, who should be at the KICC for this event, the Plug Mtaani event, and we'll be getting a lot more detail from there. For now, let's take a look at other news stories. Azimio leader Raila Odinga asserts that the discrepancies observed in the 2023 KCPE exam results are as a result of fraudulent activities that infiltrated the entire process, spanning from the preparation to the publication of the exam papers. Odinga claims the tender for printing of examination material was awarded to a company ill-suited for the task, allegedly as form favoritism towards a particular company. The Ministry of Education has, however, refuted the claims, saying it met all thresholds to ensure credible examinations. And as Andrin Kilemi reports, Odinga has called for the formation of a task force to unmask malpractices in the 2023 KCPE exams.
The 2023 KCPE outcome is increasingly sparking controversy, with Azimio leader Raila Odinga now leveling accusations against the government, alleging its involvement in fraudulent activities.
That the mess in KCPE started as a tender war pitting various senior officials in the Ministry of Education.
Odinga asserts that the government awarded the printing tender for the exam papers to a company lacking necessary qualifications for the task, after which, according to Odinga, the said company was forced to subcontract another entity to fulfill the printing of examination papers.
The government was advised that the Mombasa Road-based company did not have the capacity to print the exams and also ensure its security and integrity, especially on such a short notice.
Appearing before the Parliamentary Committee on Education, Basic Education PS Belio Kipsang and NEC CEO David Njegere affirmed that the Ministry of Education adhered to all standards for quality assurance of examinations. They observed that the error was attributed to issues to do with SMS service providers.
That is the same message we release, that you may check on the SMS or you can go to the school portal. Sometimes people, because they are in a hurry, they want to look at it very quickly. They find it faster and convenient to go to the SMS. But there is an option, you can go to the school portal without any charge.
The Kenya National Examination Council is working around rectifying at least 2,000 errors in this year's final KCPE exam. Andrin Kilemi, TV 47.
Now, the death toll as a result of the floods being witnessed in the country has risen to 165, with over 500,000 persons being displaced thus far. And as our reporter Grace Kuria Kanjet now tells us, the government has mapped out the counties worst affected, being Taita Taveta, Migori and Meru, with Lamu and Tana River counties likely to join the worst affected.
5 more people have lost their lives in the past 24 hours, raising the death toll from the floods to 165, with more than 107,000 households comprising of approximately more than 500,000 persons being displaced thus far. According to the National El Niño Emergency and Disaster Response Command Center, Taita Taveta, Migori and Meru counties are the worst affected counties due to the floods, with Lamu and Tana River counties likely to join the list of worst affected. On the back of that, North Kadem MCA Samson Obonyo is calling on the national government to declare the floods crisis in Nyatike, Migori County, as a disaster and provide the necessary support to the affected victims.
All the rains from Kisii, Migori, all of them end up at the lake through River Migori and through River Kuja. As it is, in fact, all those rivers have burst their banks and they are pouring water into homes. So far, I've received report that over 700 households have been so far displaced by the waters.
In Tana River County, more villages have been submerged while others are completely cut off downstream in the delta following the increased water levels. Kenya Red Cross Society Regional Manager Hassan Musa said a team has been dispatched to evacuate those who are marooned in Kau, Ozi and other villages to ensure they are at safer grounds.
Japo maji katika barabara ya Garisen Lamu yameanza kupungua, lakini maji haya sasa yameelekea sehemu za chini ambayo ni hizo sehemu za Kau. Kwa hiyo tunaomba watu waweze kutoka.
To Lamu County now, where government spokesperson Isaac Maura has pitched tent and where floods have wreaked havoc on vital infrastructure, destroying 4 roads, 382 acres of farm, 23 homesteads, 3 bridges, 3 schools, and a chief's office. A total of 1,770 acres of farmlands have been submerged in Hindi Ward, 2,100 acres of cropland destroyed in Bahari Ward, 5,400 acres of cropland destroyed in Mkunumbi, while 495 acres have been destroyed in Basuba Ward. Grace Kuriakanja, TV 47.
Well, you're still watching Morning Cafe on TV 47. Time now for another break. When we come back, we'll continue giving you more details about Plug Mtaani and the Youth Connect Africa Summit, plus more news. TV 47. Let's give you more news. 2023 Conference of the Parties of the UNFCCC, more commonly known as COP28, enters the 6th day today. Matters agroecology took center stage, even as farming experts maintain that the world is food insecure, according to FAO. Our reporter Wanji Sustin visited Samuel Nderito, a farmer who practices organic farming in Thika Town constituency of Kiambu County, and filed the following report.
According to Sam Nderito, the founder of Global Intensive Agriculture Center of Kenya, organic farming practices ensures that the soil fertility is maintained and enriched.
Regenerative.
He affirms that going organic is the most sustainable way of farming because it entails use of resources that the farmers could easily access.
It entails improving the soils using the resources that the farmer has. It is called a closed-loop system because it recycles within the farm, and the farmer is supposed to recycle everything that they produce.
Nderito says that the concept offers healthy and safe food and plays a role in mitigating against the effects of climate change because pesticides and other inputs with residual effects to the environment are not applied, urging farmers to embrace organic farming system to realize maximum yields from their smallholder acreages. to promote biodiversity and sustaining the fertility of the soil.
One of the benefits of going organic is that, of course, climate change will have beaten climate change, because one of the thing that contributes to climate change is agricultural activities, and that is man-made. It is human activities.
2023 Conference of the Parties of the UNFCCC, more commonly known as COP28, will be of no importance if the meeting does not discuss matters agroecology and supporting of farmers to go organic way.
If they don't talk about agroecology in the COP28, then there is no COP. There's no COP. Because agroecology is now and it's tomorrow and the future. So it has to be discussed and discussed fully, and farmers should be supported.
Emmanuel Atamba, the founder and CEO of Upseed Consulting Firm that provides consultant services in food and farming systems in Kenya, says that it is the most critical for the country to open candid conversation on agroecology to transform the food systems.
It's a conversation that is not just about farmers, it's not just about producers doing it different, but it's about all of us as a people changing the way we perceive food, changing the way we perceive agriculture.
Shockingly, according to World Food Organization FAO, still more than 750 people globally are food insecure, and this is a clear indicator that conversation for alternative approaches to the problem is required to turn around the trend.
According to FAO, still more than 750 million people globally are affected by food insecurity. And this is a clear indicator of failure of the current system to achieve.
Several small-scale farmers in Bungoma County have embraced the organic way, saying that they are now applying the method on degraded lands, especially in schools. Karen Samkoya is the coordinator for SCOPE organization in East and Central Africa.
We encourage young children in schools to actually love agriculture and not look at it like a punishment.
Wanji Sostin, TV47.
Bokashi is a fermented fertilizer.
Now, panic has engulfed Poromo village in Lamu West sub-county after one person was brutally killed by people suspected to be Al-Shabaab militants last night. Police officers have already launched an investigation into the incident while asking residents to be vigilant and to provide any information that will be useful for their investigations. Mike Kagwongo with more.
According to eyewitnesses, the attackers launched the attack around 1 a.m. Wednesday and kidnapped the victim, whose body was found in the wee hours of Wednesday morning.
Kuanza kusikia milio ya marisasi na pande hii. Leo asubuhi ndio tumekuja tukakuta mbuzi 10 na kuku 6 na mzee naye amechinjwa.
Sisi tuko na MCA, tuko na Mudhama, tuko na governor, kwani wako wapi? Kwani miaka 5 ikiisha ndio wanajua tuko wapi?
The horrific incident also involved slaughtering of several goats and chicken belonging to the victim, adding the distress to the community. Area residents lament of a spike in insecurity in the recent past, a situation that has left children without their fathers, whom have been the target of the attackers.
Gavana ndiye baba yetu, hawezi kuongea, hawezi kunyia jambo lolote, hapa vita inaendelea. So hii mambo mimi nasema serikali inajua kile kinakula kingine, na ni sababu hii mashamba.
Sisi tumeishi kuuliwa. Majirani zetu pale hapa Salama, hapa Poromoko, Juhudi huko tumekufa sisi wanaume. Kila mboma za hii iko na kamburi mbili kwingine 3. Hao watu kwa kifupi tuseme wanaonekana si watu wa mbali.
Police officers have however launched an investigation into the incident and asked residents to remain alert and cooperate with ongoing efforts to identify the main culprits. Mike Kagwongo, TV 47.
Let's take a look at some business news. In the world of stocks, the market sustained their bear runs this week after a 2-week bullish trend as signaled by the benchmark indices. Aside from the exchange rate depreciation ballooning fiscal debt denominated in foreign currency, the Monetary Policy Committee noted that the exchange rate depreciation continues to pile pressure on domestic prices.
from Islamic investment banking. So what are the products of Islamic investment banking, and how do these products align with the capital markets sukuk bond?
With Mansa X Sharia, you'll be able to invest your funds and be able to generate a very decent return, which is mostly, above the average inflation rate in the country. We also offer to our clients, equities in terms of allowing them or helping them get access to Sharia compliant or halal stocks. So what we're also now bringing on the table is bringing closer the dealings in terms of sukuks, which is an alternative to what the government bonds and the corporate bonds actually are doing. And the sukuks can be sovereign bonds issued by governments, and also could be corporate sukuks, which are issued by institutions or corporates.
Cracks in the bear markets resurfaced with the benchmark indices breaking the 2-week relief rally. The Nairobi Securities Exchange 20, 25 and 10 share indices retreated 1.0%, 0.8% and 0.5% week over week respectively. Now, the Nairobi Securities Exchange all-share index remained unchanged from last week's levels. Safaricom doubled up as the week's best-performing top mover and top-traded counter, gaining 2.6% week over week to close at an 8-week high of 14.05 Kenya shillings. Olympia Capital Holdings was the leading gainer of the week, while Flame Tea Group was the leading loser. In the foreign exchange market, the shilling continued its slide against the dollar, ceding an additional 42 cents on inability to square out the demand and supply mismatches. Even then, the US dollar index weakened by 0.3% against a basket of currencies during the week ending 30th November 2023. The shilling also lost against all the other relevant currencies, but gained 0.5% against the Ugandan shilling. Now that is all we had in the world of stocks. Here in TV47, I am Natasha Wairimu.
All right, now back to what is happening at the KICC, the Leadership and Governance Forum. What we were talking about, Plug Mtaani, is happening there. And part of the partners, as we had mentioned earlier, the Kenya Young Parliamentarians Association. I think we mentioned that some of these winners from this business idea competition. Basically, Plug Mtaani is a business idea competition that brings together young Kenyans with business ideas, and they pitch these business ideas and stand a chance to win some money. And they've been doing it across all counties and also at the national level. So today, I think, will be the culmination through this Leadership and Governance Forum happening at the Lenana Hall, starting in the next 20 or so minutes at KICC. It is just a precursor to the Youth Connekt Africa Summit 2023, also being hosted by Kenya. Over 20,000 delegates expected, young Africans, government delegations, as well as business leaders will be converging there. And the theme of the Youth Connekt Summit is Youth Innovating a Borderless African Renaissance. Now, this is a conversation that is gaining traction.
Yes.
We've always been talking about Pan-Africanism, and our chief Pan-Africanist, the president. And so when you talk about innovating borderless Africa Renaissance, it is a similar conversation.
Absolutely, and I think there will be that panel discussion there, of course being spearheaded by the Kenya Young Parliamentarians Association, even as we enter the 6th edition of the Youth Connekt that will be happening in KICC. And just to mention some of the focus of the Youth Connekt Africa, just matters empowering young people as far as even job creation and entrepreneurship is concerned. Of course, has a target to create at least 10 million jobs, and also addressing matters gender and reducing gender inequality within the African region, and also matters education and skills. And I think their aim is to create at least 25 million opportunities to the youth and young people across the African continent. Also matters tech and innovation, and that is the big conversation even for this year's Youth Connekt Summit 2023 that is happening in Kenya. And they aim at just focusing at around 5,000 digital ambassadors and 100 million connect and empowering youth as far as digital economy and tech and innovation is concerned. Remember, the focus this year is on leadership and matters innovation, even as the focus on also civic participation and leadership among young leaders, and also to grow leaders, great leaders and youthful leaders for that matter within the African continent. And yes, this event is a partnership between the government of Kenya. There's also the UNDP, among other youthful organizations within the African continent. And that is pretty much what will be happening between tomorrow all the way to Monday. Yeah.
Yes. And as far as the Plug Mtaani is concerned, this business idea competition, I've just been going through the Twitter page, the Plug Mtaani Kenya, at Plug Mtaani Kenya, and you can see some of those people who've won awards already at the county level. For example, in Uasin Gishu County, the winner of that Plug Mtaani business idea competition was John Paul Kipruto. He had an innovative proposal involving transforming plastic waste into functional furniture, including tables, learning material, and chairs for ECDE learners. And for that, he won himself 100,000 shillings.
Oh, interesting.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So already winners have been awarded different counties, and probably what we wait to see now is the competition at the national level, where the winner walks away with 10 million worth of prize money. 5 million cash, 5 million in kind.
I really can't wait to see what that first person who will go get with these 10 million shillings.
Do you know how much
invented.
5 million shillings can change your life right now? I know.
You can help a certain constituency, actually.
It is like getting your own CDF allocation.
Yes. Because we were seeing the MPs, they're remaining with around 42 billion, or is it million shillings? So this person can actually contribute to even building roads for a certain constituency.
Imagine getting 5 million shillings just because of your business idea. Well, I'm sure those who are competing may have or must have registered way in advance. But this is something that probably should continue.
Yes.
So if at all there was John Kipruto won in Uasin Gishu, I'm sure there were other winners in Embu, Nyeri, and other areas. We'll be looking at that, even as we continue waiting for an update from the KICC, where George Maringa is. And yes, we'll get more details from there.
Yeah, and just to mention some of the themes of this year's Youth Connect Africa Summit, away from matters leadership and innovation, there's also the whole conversation on sustainable green livelihoods, of course, focusing on matters climate change that have been a big talking point throughout this year. Of course, bearing in mind that we hosted the first African Climate Summit, SCW, at around September this year. And of course, it was also more youth-driven. There's also the renaissance of the African dream. That is the conversation I believe that it will be starting off, of course, being spearheaded by the Kenya Young Parliamentarians Association, something that we expect also to see other youthful leaders from within the continent. And also matters innovation in the digital era, focusing on innovation and specifically from the youth. Also, sustainable peace is part of the conversations that will be had within these 4 days, and also the conversation on borderless Africa when it comes to matters commerce. And even as we look at what Plug Mtaani is doing in terms of business. So can you imagine if you're able to, if that innovation, you're able to innovate even within East Africa, not only limited to Kenya, and also beyond East Africa, yeah? Also, I think conversations also on matters mental health will take center stage, because really it has been a big conversation over time, and youth are the people who are actually mostly affected when you look at numbers here. Yeah? And finally, I think also matters creative industry when it comes to matters sports and culture. Just one of those many issues that will be discussed by high-level panelists during this 4 days.
Something interesting I've noticed from the program is the presence or the allocation of time for something they call deal rooms. And it's something very close to Shark Tank, where you have a business idea and you walk into a room and you pitch it to people who have the potential to fund your idea. And some of these people, yes, there's prize money, but if at all there are such deal rooms in the program as well, you walk in, you pitch your idea, and you walk out of there with funding for that idea.
Brilliant.
And you move from being just having an idea to an entrepreneur who is employing people.
Yes.
Because looking at the numbers, they're talking about training, and you mentioned this, over 9,000 youth, with a minimum of 200 trained youths per county.
Yes.
Then from that, they hope that 6,500 new businesses will be creating.
Yes.
And assuming a 70% success rate, that is so from so many, about 6,000 new businesses will be created. And then about 26,000 resulting job opportunities, because each enterprise is expected to generate about 4 jobs. So it's not just ideas. They want these ideas to be implemented into full entrepreneurial pursuits, which are able to employ about 4 persons per opportunity. And that's good. And directly impacting approximately 184,000 households. Something that is unprecedented in Kenya. And, well.
Yeah, and I think also their vision or their theme, the theme for Plug Mtaani is actually moving ideas to opportunities here. And just the process of getting to where we are at now, of course, these ideas, from ideating something, they start with the expression of interest of these ideas and, of course, submitting those ideas even at the county level. Now that there have been 15 counties that have been participating, including the counties of Makueni, Uasin Gishu County, Kajiado, Embu, Kisumu, Kiambu, Kitui, among many others. And, of course, there was also the process of the selection and the training of those people who participated in that exercise, refinement and pitching. And finally, the county awards have been happening in different parts of the country. And now the big, the last process, that is the national awards, where 50 participants are taking place. And during these 4 days, I believe it is just narrowing down to 40, to 30, to 8, and finally to top 3, whom the first contestant will be taking home 10 million shillings, the second one 5 million, and I think the third one 2.5 M. Yes. Yeah.
All right, and this is where we dock for this hour. We might be back, you never know. So yes, even as we